I found it interesting on the comment of the high-end institutions. Obviously, easy to understand. And I was kind of curious as if that, spread out throughout the branch campuses. In other words, if a student is going to a branch campus, it's still Penn State, it's still Pitt, it's still Temple. In my area, it's Penn State Barron. And so, does that spill out to those branch campuses, or do those students really feel like they need to be at main campus? That's where they're going to really get that designation.
Yeah. So in our case, a Penn State degree is a Penn State degree. There's nothing different on your diploma, whether it's World Campus or any other campus. And that's because we expect the courses to be taught the same. So, for example, all the math faculty across the state of Pennsylvania join together to make sure the math curriculum is the same regardless of where it's taught. Difficult problem. I actually have them over to my house for dinner just because this is quite a task to do to make sure a Penn State degree is a Penn State degree. There are cost-saving differences with the campuses. They don't have to have the same level of breadth. You can focus programs based on regional needs. So, for example, plastics industry is very important in Erie. Plastics program makes sense. St. Joe's joined Penn State Health. Berks, we strengthened the nursing program. So they don't have to have the same level of a comprehensive degree, but they do need to be, so in some cases there's 4 years that they can go through. We have more and more students in 4-year programs at the campuses. But let's just say you start in chemistry, but I use the example of material sciences. Material sciences, high-end materials, nanomaterials, these are profoundly important to the nation, and that would be difficult to have a program like that at a particular campus. And that's where you're really competitive on equipment, laboratories, the type of faculty that you're trying to attack. So there are differences. There are definitely cost savings, and that's part of the reason why it's less expensive to go to one of our Commonwealth campuses. But each and every one of those students has access to the very highest degree opportunity if they want to take it.
And are there still a feeder to the main campus? In other words, I can remember when Barron was first established, it was a 2-year college.
So
then it moved to a feeder system.
Yeah, more and more there are programs that allow people to stay if they wish, or to move. So a significant number of students still move to University Park. That's part of the reason why we limit the number of freshmen that can go there in order to provide opportunities for juniors and seniors. But actually, what I would say is the student gets to decide. I want to be a nurse, I can do it at Berks. I want to be an engineer, I can do it in Harrisburg. Or they can decide, I want to be a nuclear engineer, and then they're transferring from engineering to University Park. So they have the opportunity to access the breadth of the university.
And does tuition vary at every one of those institutions?
We are serving tiers, so we have 4 tiers. So some of our 2-year campuses have the very lowest tuition levels.
What anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to, make a comment. I think that the synergies across the main campus and the smaller regional campuses is real in terms of both brand, that single degree, it's the same at Pitt, that matters, it affects recruiting. And I think that the smaller campuses being able to lean back on an R1 intensive university for support, guidance, and curriculum development is a real asset. In terms of the mobility of students, I think it's lower than most people understand. So at Pitt, we're oversubscribed on the Pittsburgh campus. We will do for students who don't get in, we'll admit them on our regional campus where we have the capacity. The yields, in other words, the number of the students that accept that acceptance is very low. And conversely, we watch the number of students transferring back. While that's a larger number, it's still fair. Most students, when they get into a campus and get to like it and get attached to it, want to stay there and complete their studies. So I think it's helpful to think of those smaller campuses operating in some ways in a different marketplace than the main campus.
But you think the majority of students want the main campus?
Well, the demand certainly would indicate that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.